Hey guys, it's Rob here, and as you can see, we are holding the new weapon, the Eye of AYAK, which is a 3-tick mage weapon that ever since it's been announced, people have been saying it's probably going to be really good in the Inferno. So, as someone who's done a mage-only Inferno run on my channel a couple of videos ago, I just wanted to see if this weapon and the new confliction gauntlets would be any good in the Inferno and improve any on that setup. So, without further ado, gonna pre-pot an angler and a prayer regen, and we'll see when we get in there. Alright, so as always, first things first, we're going to drop a potion here, and we're going to turn on our 15% prayer again like the last time. Did not put our auto cast on, so that's a bit of a mistake, but here goes nothing. Oh, holy crap, this thing is fast actually. Yeah, so this is actually going to be really nice, especially for these early waves. We're going to have a lot of chill early waves because this thing just, it's very fast and it's very long range as well, as you can see. Believe it's a 6-tile range on accurate and an 8-tile range on long range, I believe, so very fast attacks, as you can see. So it's very interesting. I will be interested to see if people go for their first cape with this thing, although I don't see it making a huge difference from the previous video where I kind of concluded it wasn't really worth it to mage only. You know, not to ruin anyone's party if you were planning on mage onlying, but I do think especially with bringing the Eladina sword, it's going to be nice for these early waves, of course, but for the later waves, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. This thing is a little inaccurate on the blobs, but I think it still might be better than the shadow. I believe on mages, Jad, and Zuck, the shadow will be better. That's why we have the shadow in our inventory here. It is going to be nice though, it's going to be quite hard to lose many ticks using this weapon just because of the long attack range mostly. So it is going to come in very handy during this, especially during the early waves here, like I said. So, yeah. The range of all our weapons is just so absurd in this setup, which is definitely the fun part of it, I would say. And this thing does have a special attack, which I believe we will want to use on Zuck. It is worth noting, so this thing, the special attack drains magic defense equal to the damage dealt. And magic defense, certain monsters don't have it, so like Jad for instance doesn't have any magic defense to be drained. So it's kind of interesting, but it is good on Zuck for instance. So Zuck is a monster we can actually use the Eye of AYAK special on. It's basically like a defense lowering special for mage, so it is really nice for this, for Zuck at least. This thing has a very goofy looking animation, I kind of like it, but it is a little goofy. It's fun to use though, I'm having fun so far, I will say. It is very chill in the early ways just to not have to move very much. So we're just staying around the start tile, not doing anything too crazy, as always. And we're gonna see how this performs against the melee. Now this is actually something I don't know. It does seem to be hitting pretty hard though. Pretty strong in the melee it seems. And even if it's not quite the same DPS, like maybe the shadow technically is slightly more DPS, it is nice just for the overkill DPS. For those who don't know what that means, basically when something's low, say something's 1 HP, if you hit it with a shadow, you're essentially wasting a lot of ticks. But because it's a 3-tick weapon, when something's low HP, it's way less tick loss to kill it with this. So it just makes it very nice and consistent. You see, it really doesn't matter how low I get that, because this weapon's so fast, it's just really nice and chill anyway. So it is very, very nice for these early waves. I will say that, like, it should be apparent how nice this is for these early waves. Want to keep using our saturated heart on cooldown because there's no penalty for doing that. Sipping our water as usual. A little early in this video, but never too early to sip a water, that's what I say. It's just so easy not to miss sticks with this thing. It actually is really fun, I'm not gonna lie. I'm having more fun than I thought. It's about as good as I thought it would be, but I am having more fun than I thought so far. I will say that much. Gonna give it a very high on the fun rating, that's for sure so far. Okay, we're choosing to prey against that instead of melee, very intelligent decision making. And part of the reason, you might wonder why Virtus instead of Ancestral, and Ancestral actually would give, I believe, a max hit or two with this thing. But despite that, we are bringing the Virtus because it's nice to heal up faster. So it is making, again, these early waves just that much more chill. You see, barely have to move at all. And you see the mage gear is making us kill these blobs much more often than on a range cape, which is very, very nice. That is, again, the major benefit of a mage cape. You get to heal up much, much faster, which is really chill. I don't think the special, I mean, actually, you could just use it for DPS, I suppose. Oh, is it slower as well? I think it attacks slower as well. Or it seemed like it, maybe the animation was just longer. Not too sure about that. You can heal up a little extra off of the Phantom Barrage on the Nibbler there, which is always nice. So we'll take it. And again, just look at this range. Just never ever have to miss any ticks. And I wish I had the Ward F that would be making this a little bit nicer, as well as the Magus Ring, although Ring of the Gods is nice just to be able to camp these prayers, which is helping our DPS about as much as a Magus Ring probably, so probably about an equal trade. Nice one-way switches though, it's very nice and chill so far. Which is exactly what we like to see. Forgot that last time I did actually bring the Forgotten Brew. Could be a little annoying not having it this time, which I just realized, but should be fine regardless. It's just gonna be a little annoying when we brew up. We'll have to try to find good timings to brew when we're about to run out of our saturated heart, but hopefully that won't come into play too much until much later on, so. And even if we do have to end up brewing down, we'll just have to deal with having unhearted stats, which is a little annoying, but not the end of the world. This thing is such a fun weapon. I will say, a lot more fun to use. I like that animation too. It looks kind of like fireworks. I really like that. Do enjoy using this weapon. Very fun, we'll say. Just a good feeling weapon to use as well. So we're gonna kill the nibs here, and then we can just long range cast on this guy. I feel like it delayed my attack when I did that special. kind of weird. It doesn't say anywhere. It doesn't say anywhere that it should reduce your attack speed. That's kind of weird. Alright, we're still killing. We're gonna go into the middle because it makes it so the blob is more likely to see us. Just means we know we can flick it off the beginning of the wave. This weapon is so fun, I'm not gonna lie. Especially in the Inferno. Like, this is just like a really good place for this weapon, I think. Obviously, for Jads and Zuck, it's not quite as good as a Shadow, but very fun weapon to use in the early waves. 34, and that wasn't even a max. That's very impressive, actually. And as you can see, the mini blobs hit just about every time because we have no defense. Very fun. So we're waiting for the ranger to drag in a little bit. And the solves, as you can see, the solves are going to be generally pretty easy because we can use all the long range solves, which just make a lot of situations really nice. But again, we will be using the Shadow for the mages mostly. So the mages in the Inferno, I just looked it up and they don't also have any mage defense, so you can't really drain them at all with the Eye of AYAK either. So again, that's just going to be a little bit of DPS, and for some reason it seems like the spec is delaying my attack, so it might not be worth using at all in that case. Don't know if that's a bug or intentional, but it doesn't seem like it reads it anywhere on the special attack text. So it is a little bit weird. Just killing some monsters, you know. Yeah, I mean, these waves have never been more chill than this, to be honest. I mean, you can say what you want about the later waves with this setup, because it might not be quite as good, but I will say this part is feeling very, very good. So early waves is a big plus for this setup. Feels very chill, very fun, in fact. Don't have to move around a lot. Obviously we're really squishy, as you can see when we took damage from the mini blobs, they pretty much hit us every time, so it's something to be noted for sure. But nothing we weren't really expecting in that sense, for sure. Because we knew we were going in with pretty low defense, but it's been fun regardless. We're gonna keep on going here. We're getting to some harder waves, so we are gonna focus up. You can very easily not miss ticks here. We just hit the ranger once, and then we can hit this guy. I'm gonna kill these. Definitely do want to kill those, because I don't want to play any games with the pillar health, that's for sure. Not on a run like this. I don't even have a crystal shield. I feel so unsafe. Not really. I mean, I feel pretty safe, but maybe 50 plus will come and I'll change my mind a little bit. $27, the last wave before the blobs. And as you can see, we just barely have to move at all because the range of this thing is just ridiculous, so very fun indeed. Very chill early waves. No complaints on my behalf. But again, 50 plus could change my mind, so we'll see about it. Yeah, that could be in part due to my shield choice. Obviously, Crystal Shield might make this a little more on the chill side, but couldn't resist going the ward for the extra damage, to be honest. It was just looking far too juicy, so... Alright, I thought that melee was going to come around, so I was ready to pray melee there, but we are all good. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I doubled my... I think I lost a whole hit. I could be mistaken, but... Maybe I'm totally tripping. Someone tell me if I'm wrong, but... Something felt really weird about that. And it's only because it doesn't say anything about it here, which is awfully confusing to me, but regardless, still worth using on Zuck even with the loss. But the other things, I don't know, it might not be worth... I like using it just because it's a new spec, but if it's losing me ticks, then I don't know, man. Oh well. Make sure we are prayer regenning, of course. It's actually going to be in our favor here to Blood Barrage instead of Brewing, just because we want to keep our boost going, so... Again, a little bit of my mistake not to bring in a Forgotten Brew, but not the end of the world, so we'll be okay at the end of the day. Making sure they're all lined up behind the pillar nice. Wave 30. Everything is south of the pillars, that's what we like to see. I think it's, you know, come to think of it, it's probably also a time save on these earlier waves because it feels like I'm going between killing things a lot faster, whereas, you know, it goes back to the overkill DPS thing with the shadow. Sometimes in the shadow only cape, I would just be shadowing something that's 1 HP, and that's a big waste of time. So with the Eye of AYAK, it's really nice just to be able to kill all these things really quick. Or finish them off really quick, rather, so I can go on to the next monster. And you'll see we can always just Blood Barrage off of these, and although they might do some damage, the mini blobs themselves will generally heal more than we take, so... is a good thing, especially in this setup with all the Virtus and the confliction gauntlets as well. They're definitely... there's a passive effect on them too. So that's also helping somehow, somewhat, probably, maybe. Right, we're done with the range waves pretty much. I say pretty much, and now we have a bit of a situation here, but we're good. And you'll see long range is not much of a DPS loss versus accurate. That's why I'm using long range here. It gives me 2 extra tile range, which is really, really nice. And the DPS loss is so minimal that it's way better to have the attack range, especially for how chill the early waves are with this setup. Long range is so, so nice here. It's really nice, just, I don't know, it's just a really good feeling weapon to use here. No complaints so far on this part. You know, I think on the mage waves it might be really nice to be able to kill the bats easily. So that's what I'm anticipating. Oh crap, speaking of mage waves, it's not the mage waves just yet. For parts like this though, it's just really nice to be able to just stand still, and we can hit both of these from right here, which is ridiculous. Now the plugin, not exactly working, but can get around that. Just can. Wow, this thing is slapping this. Holy, yeah, it's really good on the rangers. The meleeer has a little bit more magic defense, so you see on the meleeer it's been a little bit more resilient, but still quite good on the meleeer, so. Alright, and the beginning of the mage wave, so again, we can't use the Eye of AYAK special on this because it doesn't have any magic defense, which is a little unfortunate. We will try it out here just to make sure we're not missing out on anything, but we'll kill one mage with this. We'll kill one mage. This is the test. We'll keep our prayer on, so we have the 15% prayer on, we have all this gear. And these freaking confliction gauntlets, they better make me hit. I just don't think this thing is that good against the mages. We will finish the mage off though, just to, we'll give it a full test for science. Yeah, this is trash against this, just saying. Wasn't awful, I won't lie, it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever done, but yeah, it was pretty bad. I think Shadow's gonna be better there, so you know, obviously sorry for the people that don't have a Shadow, because I know that's like a very expensive part of this gear setup, but oh yeah, you can already tell though. Yeah, the Shadow's gonna be a much better option for the mages, for Jad, and also for Zuck, but again, the Eye of AYAK special on Zuck is probably quite good, I would imagine, so should increase our Shadow DPS on Zuck by quite a bit, which is very nice. We're just killing these. Not an optimal situation. So I did happen to remember that we don't have a lot of range defense, so what I was saying about the Eye of AYAK killing the bats on these waves actually might be outweighed by the fact that we're just gonna get slapped, so yeah. But with that being said, we can heal off of the nibblers at the beginning of each wave, so everything balances out in a certain way, but we'll see. Here I probably will start blood barraging a little bit. Just one nib on our pillar, not a huge deal. Should have enough prayer to finish this, by the way. I mean, I also missed the missing the Forgotten Brew, so got plenty of prayer to work with, that's for sure. Alright, so we'll use the Eye of AYAK for anything far away, and then well, actually all of our weapons are really long range. Okay, this we can just freeze, that's quite nice. Definitely nice having this extra range. I'm definitely feeling that the most out of anything about this. The DPS is okay, but it's definitely that attack range that's making the difference on these early waves at least. Doing a little 2-tick alternating, not something I usually do in my first cape example videos, but it is something that's nice to learn if you can manage to learn it. It's a little harder than 1-tick just because you have to know exactly which cycle, like which, you have to tell how the blob is in relation to the big monster essentially. So it's a little bit difficult when you're learning, so definitely a step up from 1-tick alternating for certain reasons, but it is nice to learn. So 2-tick alternating, it's my little spiel. 41, I believe this is 2 blobs, so we do have to be vigilant. So far, this thing has been a blast to use in the Inferno. I've like really enjoyed it so far. Is it OP? I mean, it could be OP. It would be OP if not for the squishiness of the armor that you have to basically wear. Because without having to wear this armor, it should be like super good. Basically, we kind of just kill everything with mage, which is what we hope for. Classic solve in this situation. Wait, so these things are lined up, I think, so I think I can just hit both of them. Oh yeah, you could do it again too. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, I didn't mean to do like any of that, but all good. Alright, doing a little trolling, but so far, I mean, this weapon is really good here. The biggest downside is that you have to have a shadow is like honestly the biggest downside. Because without a shadow, this method just wouldn't be viable because you can't really kill Zuck or the Jads for that matter, you know, or the majors for that matter. As we saw on the first major, it's pretty slow. So, you know, you definitely can't use this alone, that's like a big downside. You kind of need like a shadow pretty much. And in that case, you obviously have like a lot of better options at that price point for the Inferno, so it's something to consider. You know, considers using like a Bofa setup, or, you know, if you have the money for a shadow, you may as well be using a T-bow at that point probably, but pick up our potion real quick here. Make sure we still have a prayer regen running, which we do. Should be a nice, quick Inferno run, to be honest. I mean, so far, looking pretty good. Looking good on time as well. Make sure we re-hard always, because being potted is always good. Yeah, every time I try to Eye of AYAK, the mage is just not gonna hit, so definitely shadow on the mages for sure. Although I was eager to see if it would do damage to the mage, but it's good, but it's not that good. Careful the melee here. We'll just kill the melee outright. It's probably the easiest solution here. Oh, that wasn't good. Alright, maybe it's a bit of a brew moment. Mistakes were made. So can this thing hit without the saturated heart bonus? That is the question. Not great. Although, yeah, it still hits. Once again, trying to get back in line with the blob and the mage here. See, if the blob and the mage hit on the same tick every once in a while like that, then that means we have to have the prayer on the tick before and the tick that the mage attacks. And then prayer range for the other ticks. It's a little bit complicated to explain, but I always try to give a 2-tick explanation, but it's never really easy to give an explanation in the moment. Maybe one day I'll make a separate video on 2-tick, just because it's quite nice to know if you're pretty committed to learning the Inferno. Not at all necessary, but it's nice. Can't wait to be able to re-imbued heart. Alright, 47-48. We're gonna be on high alert here. So the Eye of AYAK has a slightly lower range than the Shadow, so it's a little bit worse for hitting the melee as soon as I can there, but still quite good. Little bit of time lost not having the Forgotten Brew here. Is a bit of a regret, but nothing that'll stop us from getting a cape here. Oh, we already lost the pillar, but I guess that's alright. Should get some free healing here. Nice. Make sure we prayer regen, of course. Always forgetting to do that. Make sure we're hitting every 3 ticks. Quite fun to use a 3-tick weapon because there's not a lot of 3-tick weapons. It kind of makes me feel like I'm using like a short bow or something. Little trick with these blobs here is this one is slightly in the pillar here, like it's still in line with the pillar, believe it or not, so you can actually kill this like this. A little trick here, even for just a first cape. Oh, I just love the animation on this thing, it just looks so cool. Looks like fireworks, I like it. So as I was saying, this is a little bit better. It's a little bit better to shadow right at the beginning, but it's not a huge difference. Just finishing off that guy, and then I'm gonna try to kill this. If the melee digs here, we can go around the pillar. And it's cool just to keep using the shadow here for simplicity. Having trouble killing these melees, I guess, but... And there's the overkill DPS I was talking about earlier. Just like we like to see. Okay, so now Eldrin's Ward is gonna not defend us here, so... Alright, that pillar's half. Our north pillar is good at least, which is obviously the most important pillar. But damn, it's getting a little bit intense over here. What the heck is going on? That will be good, that will be good. Now, AYAK is better DPS on the Ranger, so this is always very nice. Killing this with the AYAK, very, very fun. Good DPS, good animation. Fun to move around in 3 ticks. High attack range. No defense. Okay, well maybe that's not a plus, but... Whoops. Missed the prey, but... I have been known to do that apparently, so... Miss a prey we will. I'd say it's about augury time. I mean, we'll see if I regret that with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 restores and a prayer regen. But I highly doubt it. I don't think I'll regret camping a little bit of augury. So we will do that. Want to kill the mage first just to make our life a little easier. And yeah. Ooh, maybe Augury was the key, because this thing's kind of slapping now. Maybe you should have had Augury on the whole time. This thing is pretty good. Really good for finishing off the nibblers. I say that as it doesn't kill a nibbler twice, but it should, because it has a max of like 30 something, so you'd think it does, but oh well. Of course the game will always prove me wrong, whatever I say, so it is what it is. But in general, it's very good for cleaning up the nibblers, so we will say that. Gonna do a little trick here. Maybe Blood Barrage. I'm thinking Blood Barrage. Okay, well, just didn't want to talk there because I was just like, you know what, I'm taking damage here, we're in chance range, like let's just not make any of the viewers nervous, so yeah. But we did come out of that one alive. It's getting a little scary though, we are taking a lot of damage, so brewing will be nice, but we don't want to brew down necessarily. Okay, so key detail there is the... Alright, don't worry about what I was saying, but we're good. Everything's good. No problems. We're all good. Sorry to anyone I'm making nervous. I wish I had a Forgotten Brew, then I wouldn't be so tempted to be low HP and conserving my heart boost, but oh well. Nice, we got some health back. That's what we like to see. I'm gonna just keep camping Augury. Try to Blood Barrage a little bit of health back whenever we can. Obviously that's gonna help us. I'm just trying not to die here, making a little bit of mistakes here. I mean, you know, sometimes this thing hits a bunch of zeros, but sometimes it hits a bunch of 35s, so you know, I like it for those times where it does hit. Like here, it's just two-shotting a blob. That's nice. That's what we like to see. I don't know why I'm putting on rigor. It's probably not the best. We're just continuing to kill stuff. Not the hardest waves ever, you know. I mean, ain't no 62, 63, you know, that's all I'm saying. Overkill DPS moment. Just healing up a little bit once more, and probably gonna go back to Ice Barrage just for the harder waves. I think that was actually a chance, but can we just pretend that didn't happen? Pretend it wasn't a chance. How about a bat's max hit is not 19. Don't know what you're talking about. Just kidding. A bat's hit is max hit is 19. Just kidding. Okay, but regardless. Oh, I forgot I can use the Eye of AYAK on this thing. It's really good DPS on the ranger. Not as much without the Saturate Heart, but you know, it's all good. Things happen. People forget. Forgotten Bruce. Don't know who. Who's that? Alright, again, heal up as much as we can, because we will need it. Again, making the audience nervous. Sorry, audience. You just gotta have some faith in yourself, though. You're not gonna mess up. You're him, dude. Come on. Alright, so it would have been nice to brew up a little there, but not much we can do about it now. We will once again do one of those. Just gonna heal up a little here. Don't see why not, considering we are on pretty hard wave. Oh, I bet this guy's pretty low, huh? Oh no, he's full. Shadow's still quite good here though, obviously. Sometimes I can still use the shadow, but blobs, bats, and rangers, the Eye of AYAK definitely wins. Meleeers, not so much. Mages, definitely not so much. Trying to get the major as fast as we can here, because it always makes the wave a little easier if you can kill the mage first, of course. Little Eye of AYAK time. Can get this ranger. It's really nice with the rangers. So especially on the early waves where it's just the rangers, it's very nice. And we'll do our patented pray melee, kill the melee north. My splash, making the mage go on a different tick than it normally does, tripped me up so hard right there for a second. If the first hit you do against the mage splashes, which is pretty rare in this gear setup, then the mage will delay its first attack, which is what just happened, but it just confused me so much, especially because it's not very likely to happen with this gear setup. It's only on your first hit as well. You know, and for anyone who's wondering, like, why does this look so easy to you, and why is it that I can do this even though I've never used a 3-tick weapon in the Inferno in my life? And the reason basically is it's because I'm gonna die right now. Okay, how about we don't die right now? That'd be kind of cool. Okay, maybe don't get cocky, but but yeah, why is the reason that this seems relatively, I'll say, relatively easy for me? And the reason why is because all of the flicking against the monsters is all the same, so the only difference here really is just the DPS against the monsters and the tick speed of my weapon, obviously. A little bit weird to get used to. Should have enough time to kill this melee before we have to worry. From here we can go diagonal and corner trap the melee. Even though it looks like it'll almost get around, but just barely gets trapped here. Again, pretty unfortunate that we don't have our saturated heart boost for this part, but overall not a huge time loss. Cry a little bit though inside, you know? But it's all good. All good. Make sure we are prayer regenning. It's hard to tell how much the confliction gauntlets are helping, because I know they have a passive effect, but it doesn't really tell me when it happens, so it's a little bit hard to tell. Now, this is obviously a little bit scary, but I'm just gonna focus up here. Yeah, and as you can see, I mean, especially against the Rangers, this thing is quite strong, quite strong. Kind of just slaps these things. Now, it would slap a little more if I was, you know, forgotten brewed up, but... And for those of you who don't know, I'm not sure if anyone was wondering, but the Forgotten Brew is like a slightly lower than Saturated Heart boost. But we can use it after we brew up, which we can't resaturate heart until the timer's all the way down, so that's why here, for instance, we have to be unpotted, which is a little annoying. That's why the Forgotten Brew would be so good here. Especially for things like, you know, for triples and Zuck. Hopefully we won't have to brew too much and lose our boost if we can avoid it. So that is our goal for, you know, for the Jads and Zuck. We're going to try not to lose our boost. We could have hit that mage on the falling pillar, but we didn't think of it in time, so our bad, but could have saved a little bit of time there. Still have 7.5 restores, which is a whole lot when you think about it. Definitely begs the question why we don't have a Forgotten Brew. So here we're going to brew up because we can resaturate art, so that's going to be nice. So now we're at least brewed up for the triples, which should help us tank the healers a little bit, which is admittedly a little bit of a scary prospect in the setup, so this is now a survive the healers challenge, so good luck. Can tag with the Eye of AYAK as well. It's very good for tagging these. And the fun fact is the healers here are 4-tick and this Jad is 8-tick. So if it makes sense to you, if this healer's off-tick with the Jad, it's going to remain off-tick with the Jad, if that makes any sense. A little bit confusing here. We heal up a little, which is nice, again, because we have the mage gear. And you'll see with the Slayer task, we could have easily hit a sub 65 with this setup. It would have been no problem at all. Nice chill triples, trying not to make any major mistakes. I've done some pretty bad mistakes in the last couple of videos at triples, so trying to tone it down a little. Also, you know, those late waves in this video are not the cleanest as well, so I'm trying to redeem myself a little. Hopefully I have a clean triples, clean Zuck is the hope. So let's see, I'll bring back out the Eye of AYAK because it's really good for tagging these. And you see we move one south and that traps one healer on the other, which is a really good trick you can do. And you should remember if it makes a noise, it's mage, and if it makes no noise like this, it's range, so it's important to remember as well. Again, we can use the Eye of AYAK to tag these healers, which we probably will just because it's a good consistent way to do it. And just the attack range coupled with the very high rate of attack, like you know, it's only a 3-tick weapon, so every 3 ticks you can tag another healer, so it's very quick to tag all the healers with it. It's a very nice weapon for tagging the healers. That being said, on the Jad at Zuck, you can still tag it with the Kodai just because the barrage usually hits all 3. So we're actually going to start with the Eye of AYAK, and we're going to use the special twice, so hopefully this is actually going to up our DPS quite a bit. I don't know if we can do it right off the beginning. I think we can, though. Okay, 0. Alright, we hit 2 zeros. That is very, very, very unfortunate. Well, I guess, well, I mean, not very, very, I mean, I guess actually, to be fair, this thing probably has quite low accuracy on Zuck because of his high magic defense in the first place, so it's kind of ironic. It's like because it would be a good place to use it because his defense is so high, it is a bad place to use it because you're probably going to miss, which I didn't even think of that. It has a higher chance to hit than a regular attack from it. Like its special attack has a increased chance to hit, but apparently even with that, still not enough. So we are just doing a pretty normal Zuck here. We can use this here, because here it's going to be our best DPS against the Ranger. So I won't lie, that was very nice. Keep the right prayers on here. It's definitely nice for killing that Ranger there, although if you didn't manage to kill that Ranger, obviously having to tank anything in this setup would be a bit of a nightmare, so keep that in mind, but in that case, ended up working out. Oops, make sure we catch up there. I fell asleep for a second. When this hits 50%, or I think is it 55? No, it's 50 because I used 2 at the beginning. So at 50%, we can try another Eye of a Yak spec. We'll see if the third one hits, which is a pretty significant. It's a nice DPS bump for our Shadow. I did check the DPS calc, so it is quite a big DPS bump on Zuck if you manage to hit it, especially early on. So early on in the fight, hitting a Eye of a Yak spec is like really huge for this fight. Just makes your DPS higher for the whole entire thing, which is really nice. I'm almost making like every mistake I can make, so just be very careful. We want to play safe. We want to just move to the next safe spot, and then we're just going to wait for him to attack, and then move to the next safe spot. So, you know, another thing, so here, I will Eye of a Yak spec here. It did manage to hit. It hit pretty hard too, which is hit 40, so that's, you're going to see our DPS is going to go up quite a bit here. And hit one more maybe, and then we want to proc it on the next corner. And we can use the Eye of a Yak on the healers as well, which is really nice. Alright, we definitely want to proc on the next corner. I'm gonna keep hitting it because we need to hit it like twice more. We will wait until yet the next corner, and hopefully this time we will be good to send the healers. So yeah, this should be it. So we're just trying to proc them all as fast as possible, and now our goal is just to kill them as fast as possible. Oof, got really low there. Listen, close enough, good enough, okay? Listen, I didn't make any major mistakes, didn't take a Zuck hit, okay? So it's all good. Although, man, this last 400 is gonna be painful, just slow. Ooh, not if we hit another Eye of a Yak spec though. Let's go. 26 more magic defense. Shredded. So obviously in 30 more seconds we can use our imbued heart. Yeah, just a PSA for anyone trying Mage Inferno. Bring a Forgotten Brew. Very good, very good, as it turns out. You see, even with the Eye of AYAK hitting, it's still quite inaccurate. Would definitely be nice to have this imbued heart. Alright, here we go. Now our DPS, we shouldn't really miss much now, so should be pretty much over. But this is why it's so important to always remain boosted for the whole Zuck. You know, if it needed to be said in in any form, but... Alright, there is our second set, but doesn't matter because we got a budget setup kill. I didn't even know I didn't have that CA. That's actually really funny. Alright guys, do hope you enjoyed that one. That was a little bit of an AYAK Inferno. Overall, I think it was really fun, especially on the earlier waves. On the later waves, you would probably prefer to have the defense from a normal range setup from either the Crystal or the Masori, but at the end of the day, this was a very fun setup, and these items were for sure a big upgrade to the Shadow setup that I tried last time, so, you know, I hope I showed you something that you enjoyed there. I hope you enjoyed seeing the Eye of AYAK in action. It's a really fun weapon. I really enjoyed it overall, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed and hope that helped you. If you decide to do this, let me know. Don't think overall this is worth doing over a range cape, but again, was really fun, so can't say I didn't enjoy it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.